Hey everyone, and welcome to the next edition of the Snapchat. I'm joined today by none other than Cozy Snap. Cozy, we've got a lot to talk about today, but before we get into that, I got called out last week for being uncultured because I had not watched The Truman Show. My friend, I watched The Truman Show. I gotta tell you, it was pretty damn good. I think it was maybe Jim Carrey's best performance. I want to start off the Snapchat with a discussion about Jim Carrey in The Truman Show.
Heck yeah, man. I'm proud. You didn't even tell me that we talked. We did my side. We talked before, and he saved to tell me now. A, proud of you. B, pretty good movie, right? Like we were watching. I've been watching White Lotus with the wife. It's a TV show, pretty good one. And the girl that plays April on Parks and Rec. Why can't I think of her name right now? I don't know. I know her name very well. I just can't think of it at the moment. Very kind of just like always mad character and stuff. And my wife was like, she kind of plays the same role, and I'm like, yeah, but that's what she's great at. Jim Carrey, kind of same thing, but Truman Show is so different from what he does that he nailed it. He truly nailed it. I think he should have done more dramas at his time because I thought he's all about just taking over a role, and I think he just did such a good job.
Yeah, and you know what? In the comments section, people like unanimously loved the movie and said I had to watch it. So I'm like, okay, I got to set aside the time. And for you as well, Cozy, I've actually tried to set aside some time to get through X-Men 97. I have 3 episodes left. It's like a mega episode. I guess it's like a 3-part episode type thing.
So you've watched a couple of like, oh my gosh parts. Dude,
I feel like I'm watching Game of Thrones.
So that's what I said.
What is happening out here?
That's how I pitched it to my buddy. He was like, I don't know, animated. I'm like, hey, listen, it's Game of Thrones. Nobody's safe. Like, nobody's safe. We'll keep it at that. We'll stay spoiler free. But I remember watching and be like, no.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, come on. Come on. What are we doing here?
Even my wife was like, yeah, but they're going to come back, right? I'm like, no. We're going to move on.
I got teary, man. I got actually teary.
Dude,
the same type of teary I got during like the end of Toy Story 3. Like, I just got a little teary. You know?
There's a lot of like teary things on there. Stuff with Gene and Cyclops. Like, I was shocked at like, and I think that's why it does so well is like for an animated show with the humor they have, they're able to capture such great character development and emotion. Hey, same goes as the Truman Show. What would you, okay, so if Truman Show is your favorite, which is very unique, very cool, what would you say is your next favorite Jim Carrey movie?
Oh man, I don't know if I'd say it's my favorite. I still think I'm impartial to Ace Ventura: Pet Detective.
Okay.
But if I have to go back, I would say it would be Truman Show, then Liar Liar, which I really liked as a kid.
Liar's so good. Yeah, that was such a solid flick. I think that I thought
kicking
Bruce,
my ass. Do you mind?
Yeah. Or when the cop pulls him over and he's like, I went through 2-speed light. Yeah, and I'm speeding. But yes, I think that's good. Also, Bruce Almighty. The first time I watched it, I thought it was really funny. That was very unique.
Oh, I haven't seen that in so long.
Nah, dude, that came out of nowhere, man. I haven't seen that in too long. Also, what was that other one? Yes Man. Yes Man was good. Did you see Yes Man?
You know what? I think I did, and I think it probably was not good enough for me to remember.
It wasn't like great, but it was. I thought it was funny. Again, a very unique concept, if you will. But yeah, anyway, we have enough Jim Carrey talk between a couple podcasts now. But yeah, I'm glad you watched it, dude. Definitely one of my favorite movies of all time. Just very unique. I wish there was more like it because it's such a mind bender. Yeah,
the thing about Jim Carrey that's so good is that he's constantly surprising, like our season pass card Blink. Blink is always pulling something surprising from that. You like that one, eh? That was a good one, eh?
Hey, that was pretty good.
All right. Blink, 52% win rate, 20% of the Metacoins. Wow. And Blink really elevated a couple archetypes and particular cards that I think pissed some people off. We had Leech, and this is my favorite part about the Blink season, by the way. Yeah. Our man Cozy creates a Leech deck with Leech at 5 pre-buff. And then it's like, I'm like, I played your deck on stream the day you released it. Because you released the video while I was playing it. And I was like, yo, Cozy's deck's pretty damn good. Imagine if Leech was 4. And then they did it. I couldn't believe it.
Hold my beer. Yeah, oh my God, dude. And now he's back kind of in a 5-cost role. Like there's some ramp decks that are working again with that.
Yeah, no, I couldn't believe it. I mean, Leech has been through some stuff. But at the end of the day, Jubilee Blink is damn good. Corvus Blink. There are so many variations of Blink that it's just chef's kiss. Like, I think the card's phenomenal. I like the idea that it hits. It makes it to the point where I'm playing like Iron Lad, or if I'm playing Jubilee, I'm like, man, I wish it was just Blink because I know I'm hitting Red Hulk, or I know I'm hitting Doctor Doom or whatever. It has this consistency in its randomness that I think makes it phenomenal, and I like this card a lot.
Yeah, it's one of the better balanced too, in a way of like it doesn't feel completely broken all the time. Really loved Blink. I think I gave her like a You gave her a 5, and I gave her 4.5. I think it was what it was.
That's right. I came in at 5. It was my 5-star of the month. Which, wait a minute, did we not give a 5-star this month? I just realized.
Not even close, bro. We barely hit a 4-star.
Wow, we were a little lower on this past month on your side there. Wow, that's crazy. But not to spoil, if anybody's watching these out of order, I don't mean to spoil, but I just realized that. But yeah, I came in at 5. You came in at 4.5. And yeah, I think we nailed it. Honestly, I would agree with 4.5. I think it had a 5-level impact, but in terms of ongoing, like, future seasons, I think it's a good 4.5 card. This is a beauty. I think if you bought the season pass for the $10 you spent, $10 American, of course, then you know, you're loving Blink, because I think the card's good, and it's always, I think it's going to be a card that sneaks itself into a lot of really good meta lists going forward.
Yeah, it's not going to go anywhere. Blink is up there. It's one of the best. Like, we can just, I think we can say this with confidence. And going into this, because they know our rankings a lot of the time. Is this the best season that we've had in how long?
Man, it's actually kind of crazy. In terms of overall balance, like across the board, Blink, Nocturne, Sage, Namora, and Sasquatch, across the board, I think all of these cards were impactful to some degree, better than anticipated, and also significantly more balanced than expected. I remember a while ago, I remember that, you know, they did a patch update where they had in the developer notes, like, hey guys, we know we missed the mark. This might have been during Loki. And they said, we're making changes to how we're going to be testing and evaluating cards that hopefully make us more accurate in the future. I don't remember exactly which patch note it was. I think it was after Loki when they had a bunch of consistent misses.
Yep.
And then from there, I feel like whatever changes they made from an actual like process standpoint, I think it's paying off, because the cards have felt significantly more in tune. They've had basically what? Red Hulk missed slightly high, Blobs missed way high, but that's coming a few months back. And then US Agent missed low. Other than that, it's been pretty good, no?
Yeah, it has. It's not like, I dead honest, I don't think I can think of a bad card that's come out like insanely bad. And even if they did, they like immediately buffed it up thereafter. And anything compared to this season, it reminds me of the High Evo, Living Tribunal, Iron Lad season. You even had Howard the Duck there, so even worse off. Like, so much so when we were evaluating the cards, and it's fun to go through the final verdicts, it's like, we have to put limits on ourselves, right? Because we can't be like 5, 4, 5, 5. You know, it can't be. But it kind of was this month. So, yeah, Blink, definitely a good way to kick that off. Very solid card. Card I use all the time. Going to continue to use it. And if you didn't get her, you have one more day. But if you also didn't get her, this is one to look out for in spotlights.
Oh, 100%. And as I said prior, a 20% meta share, which is going to be the highest of this list. But coming close, and this is surprising to me, but also not too surprising, is Nocturne. Nocturne running a 16% meta share. And of all the cards this month, Cozy, and this is the surprising thing that I double verified, running the highest win rate at 54%. The reason why that surprises me is because I feel like Nocturne as a whole, people are like, okay, this card's good, but I feel like she's getting cut from a lot of decks. I feel like the effect is annoying some people. I feel like people, like in terms of the actual sentiment, the card's sentiment is lower than its actual performance, because at a 54% win rate, it's actually leading the pack. And you and I came in together, same rating, 4 stars.
Yeah, doesn't do anything crazy sexy. That's why. It's a 3/5 that moves, man. That's all you need to know. I think it doesn't, it's not a Cersei. It doesn't have anything crazy behind it. And so I think, like, it just seemed like, it's okay. But each time you add a card, not only to the Angela deck, but also one that can move and you can change your mind and nope out of lanes, like, that kind of flexibility is what makes it solid. Just a good value card. You're combining two great ones. So good, in fact, I think they need to buff Scarlet Witch. And definitely, for that matter. I think she's too random. She only does the one thing at 2. Personally, that's what I would like to see. But yeah, definitely Nocturne's good.
I agree with that 100%. But at the same time, like, I'm one of the people that don't love playing Nocturne at all. Like, I recently just lost a game where I moved Nocturne, and they had a full location. Nocturne was going to win it by 1, and it created the ninja place where a ninja popped on my side of the board but not theirs, and I lost by 1. I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
You've had a lot of those with
ninja.
her, man. That's great, because I'm the opposite. I've been like, oh, it's a wash or whatever.
No, I mean, I've had those shots where I'm like, okay, Nocturne hits this to bar with no name 100% of the time, and you throw it there, and it just doesn't happen. I don't know, man. I feel like Nocturne's betrayed me a lot. a lot from a location standpoint because it just messes you up. Like their location's filled and then Monster Island disproportionately benefits them and not you. I had that happen as well live on stream. I was like, you gotta be kidding me, man. I've had Nocturne just like, I don't know, man. I've had a lot of really negative luck. But at the same time though, when I have Nocturne out and I see Limbo, I like playing those mind games. I don't always take out the Limbo. I let them play like kind of poorly on turn 6 to take advantage of it.
Yeah, that, and also just like I love when there's like, let's say there's a Death's Domain and no one can really play there. They're not playing Destroy. And on turn 6, I love that you can, the ability to change locations with doing nothing is insane. Because if you go over there, then you play a card there, you're good to go. You're good to go. You can all of a sudden surprise win a lane. She has a lot of just surprise factor with solid stats behind her. She's Polaris level stats that we used to go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs for. I like, yeah, definitely solid. And this is why this whole month was great.
Yeah, definitely solid, but like it's funny, despite the stats, despite the meta share, even I agree she's a 4-star card. I think we nailed it, but I like her 3-star. Like I don't I don't actually like playing the card. Does that make sense? I don't know how to explain it. I have not enjoyed Nocturne as much as the statistics would indicate.
That's fine. Yeah, definitely preference, man. And it's not like, yeah, I play her mainly in those decks and in the control builds. I think she just kind of, she could have been an on-release card and people would have had her in the same value as where they've got, let's say, you know, maybe not obviously something like Jeff. She fills that void between Jeff, Vision, Nightcrawler so perfectly. And I think that's what makes her great.
I'll tell you one thing. Here's a perfect example to explain how I'm feeling about Nocturne. If given the choice between Nocturne and Red Guardian, and noting that Nocturne's win rate is higher and meta share is higher, I take Red Guardian every single time, not in question. I never look back. That's just the way I feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because Red Guardian, I think, is harder to replace in a deck. And Nocturne isn't, in a way, right? But what she does is so good that it's like, I could get behind that a bit. Red Guardian, I think that's a good example.
Yeah, and even then, Red Guardian is replaceable too. Like it's kind of crazy. It's the feel of playing these cards, which I think I just jive with like something like a Red Guardian. Nocturne just doesn't do it for me. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm gonna give it more time. Maybe you know, it'll help me out a little bit. But I was pleasantly surprised with this card this season, which is Sage. Sage running 11% of the meta. 52% win rate. Now, this is interesting because there's 2 cards this month that you and I had some flip-flopping on, okay? And I did a little more flip-flopping, but you started at 2.5 on Sage, okay? And then warmed up to say, you know what? Maybe 3, I could see this hitting 4. So you started a little low, and then as you were talking and as you were thinking, you kind of brought yourself up a little bit. I came in at 4 and then brought myself back to 3. So it's kind of interesting. We had a little bit of a different situation. You started low, I started high, and then we kind of came towards the middle, but Sage has surprised.
And I think you were closer on the 4. I think I can confidently say she feels like a 4, and this was probably like one of my bigger... you know what? I was so focused on the fact that she felt replaceable with something like Wolfsbane or something, and ignored, and again, we led to this. We were talking about her when we talked about, like, man, it's actually kind of easy to have unique power out there, and you can kind of play. Well, when are you going to play her? The answer is pretty much whenever, but then she has that ceiling that not a lot of cards have for that cheap. She fits in so many decks, bounce, negative, just a plug and play. I think Sage is such a cool card, man, and one of our, like, quote-unquote misses, if you will, with how she ended up being.
I missed more on another one, but we'll pretend like this is the one I missed on for now. But yeah, I think the Sage honestly surprised really high. And I think the thing I took away from it was like Hitmonkey's just, why play Hitmonkey when you can play Sage? Like that's kind of like, even in decks where like you could theoretically play both, I'm like, no, just getting rid of Hitmonkey. Like Sage is so much easier
just better,
and so much better multiple times. Like in some of the highlights I had, man, I was playing Sage and like Wong and getting her to like 18 power on the first play of her. I'm like, what the heck is happening here?
Or Absman.
It's crazy.
Even Absman. Absorbing Man has never made more sense. Like usually the power, you can't really do a lot there, but having the extra power on top of the unique effect is stupid.
Ultimately, I do think that this is most certainly a 4-star card. Perhaps we were slightly low on Sage, and I'm glad to see it earning its stripes. Now, when we talk about how we started in different spots here, nothing is more exemplary of that than Namora. I even went as far as to say that I could have seen this being a 1-star card on its release week, because keep in mind, Junk was so prevalent at the time, and I was like, man, Junk's gonna absolutely eat Namora's lunch. And then it didn't really play out that way. And I was playing it on stream, and Cozy, why don't you relive that moment when you came to my stream to just to check in how Namora was doing for me?
Yeah, I just finished playing some games, testing her out. And this was my all-in card. This was like my, I'm going to look like a complete fool, or people are sleeping on this, and I actually love the potential here because she's a base 5'11" pretty much. So I'm like, you know what? Things are going pretty good over here. Maybe I have rose-colored glasses on. I'll go check on my boy Alex. The moment I click on his stream, he's like, what was your exact words? Man, Namora is actually pretty good. And I just put, well. Good to be here, Alex. Dude, yeah, Namora has fell. In fact, we could literally see it. I just did the top decks. I think you've done that too. Statistically, is in all of the great cube and win rate decks to finish the season. Yep. One of the best there. What a great card, man. What an awesome, solid addition to the game.
In terms of meta penetration, she's at 8% of the meta. However, a 53% win rate and almost to 54. Remarkably high. You gave her 4 stars, and you were confident in that 4 stars. And that's what I liked about it. I went back, I was watching the game tape. I'm like, man, Cozy was like sticking your guns. You're like, okay. No, I'm staying. I don't care. I'm confident in this pick. And I said, maybe she's a 1 on release week. I ended up settling in on 2. I gave her a 2-star rating, and I'll happily say I slept on Namora. I think the effect is way stronger than anticipated. And this card was good. Way better than I expected. I play her now. I think she's great. One thing I will say, though, is originally I was playing like Wong style decks. And I feel like that was too greedy and too fragile. Just straight up Namora is fine. It's good.
Pretty much anytime you have Wong in a deck, as great as it is and fun it is for clips, it's just never the best option. To be fair, though, to your Namora ranking, like, we have it, I think, kind of hard, man. And why? Listen, it takes investment, either playtime or literal money, to get these cards, okay? And so we are trying to give our best recommendations for something that there's not a lot of currency for. And we don't want to hype something up too much, and we don't want to whiff on it too much either. And it's super hard. We could just be given 3s and 2s and just like call it what it is, but we want to lean in to the cards that we believe in the most. And it's going to be in our face sometimes, and sometimes we're going to miss massively because to you, it's like, this didn't feel good. It did not feel good. You did not want people wasting tokens, which is why we test and do what we can. But it's tough. It's a tough assignment, and it's getting even tougher. I think this month will be the biggest indication of that. I think it's going to be all over the board. But yeah, for me, I'm like, I'd rather be safe on Sage, not that good, replaceable. And now it's like, well, damn, she is good. It's a tough job.
It's funny that you mentioned that because like no one remembers that like I called Blink as a 5-star and we nailed it, right? We nailed Blink being high end card. Everyone remembers me being low on Namora.
Oh, it's always the one
specifically.
Yeah.
Specifically, it's Cannonball, dude. I have people that are actually unironically pissed off with me about saying that I thought Cannonball was like a 2-star at release, but it was, man. Pro X was dead. Alioth had to get nerfed for Cannonball to become relevant. And it's like the circumstances of the initial ratings kind of get lost in translation over time because like Marvel Snap is an ever-changing game with OTAs, patches, metas shifting. It's hard to hit a moving target.
It is. And I felt the same because I nailed Namora. Just the week earlier, I nailed Namora. Then Sasquatch comes out, who, for whatever reason, people were legit like, didn't like the card. I didn't understand it. I still don't quite. I gave this was my original, my 5-star lock-in, I think.
Yes.
Because of just the way that it works out. Even in my playtesting, I gave it another 5. I'm like, it's stupid. This just works with what I'm trying to do in the first place. It's like, it's tough to not give him that. I do think he's going to be a 4, though, for me now.
Yeah, so Sasquatch's numbers a little lower than expected. A 51% win rate and 11% meta share. So meta share higher than that of Namora, but a significantly lower win rate, unfortunately. Now, what happened here, I think, was, first of all, in some of the better performing decks, Sasquatch is there.
Yeah.
Like, he's in a number of key decks. The card
sure.
is good. Yeah. But it's not the meta shaker I think we expected. And what I found in my testing, and tell me if I'm wrong, Cozy, but I would rather just play Mockingbird. Like, I'm just like, Mockingbird felt easier to play because her condition remains over the course of a game. I felt myself able to play Mockingbird with more confidence, whereas Sasquatch, it required a bit more of a setup to get more value out of.
Yeah, I think this card's not going to go anywhere. I just think that it's like, maybe not, like, first of all, we said it earlier on, this is a very easy card to counter if you're calculating it. So anytime I see, like, we put out our videos with the rankings right away because we need to. in order to try our best to guess there. But we even say take those with a grain of salt. To have a firm opinion on a card a day or two into testing is just stupid. It's hilarious and it's silly. This card, I think, will be fine in Marvel Snap. It's going to continue to work. The meta right now, I don't know if it's perfect for Sasquatch, and I think that might need to be adjusted a bit. But yes, listen, 5'10". 5'10". It's a Doc Ock with no kind of draw. Say what you will, I think that's perfectly fine. The 5-starness I can't give just because it wasn't sometimes it felt clunky or what have you. But yeah, I think Mockingbird is better for sure. Like, no question.
It feels like a 4-star-ish card. Like, it feels like it could. There are times where it feels a little weaker, but there are times where it has its pop off. Yeah. Like it's. I don't know. As you said, it's not going anywhere. I think this effect is still powerful. I think this stat line is still powerful. And there's going to come a time you're going to want Sasquatch in your collection. It might not be right now, but there is going to come a time. And I don't know. Again, this card ain't going anywhere. Just as Marvel Snap itself is not going anywhere, and we have a massive announcement coming at IGN Live. Second Dinner did retweet a statement saying that, hey, we got some news at IGN Live, which is on the weekend of the first week of June, which is, well, this coming weekend, if you're watching the Snapchat in the anticipated order. But what I'll tell you is, Cozy, we know nothing about this. We're going to preface this by saying that Cozy and I have no information. This is pure speculation, but this is some of my favorite things to do. I want to take a shot at what might be announced because I don't know about you, Cozy, but sentiment around Snap as a whole, it feels like it's cratering a bit. You know, I just feel like the energy from the community feels like everyone's just kind of a little ho-hum. We need some jubilation.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think that's an overstatement by any stretch. I think, funny enough, it's just like Wolverine's crotch right now on the top of my screen. So funny enough, the only time they've done this where they got involved with some type of other show announcement, I think Gamescom was the last one, was Conquest. Conquest release, we kind of knew already the shell of it, and then they confirmed some more stuff there, and it was more of like an advertising thing. I think, no question about it, this is the game mode tease. I think we're going to get the game mode tease here is the ceiling. And then I have a floor, what I think it'll be too. But I think the ceiling is first look at the game mode. Hand to God, guys. I wish I knew. I don't know. I do not know when anything's coming out, what it is. I'm going to say this. I love them. They're great. My connection with the dev team is definitely like, it not vanished. I just don't talk with them as much anymore, right? Just by doing content, living life. But I don't know what it is, and I want to know what it is, and I'm really hopeful that it is the new game mode to get, and something unique, man, something really unique and fun. I'm interested.
Yeah, it definitely, I really, really hope it's the new game mode and that the game mode is able to do a couple things. One, rejuvenate the passion from the existing fan base. And two, and probably most importantly, bring back players that are no longer playing Marvel Snap. We need a game mode that's going to bring back returning players. And there's a couple things there. Like, listen, Marvel Snap is a phenomenal game to play. We need to reignite that passion in people. And it's so accessible that we need people to be excited about reinstalling that app and getting started again.
Well, you just said it, right? When we were talking about the cards, like the game is ever flowing and there's always something new where like a Spectrum deck is back on top. What's cool about that is if you went back to like when you lost a player in Hearthstone, okay? It was very hard. They have catch-up packs now, but back then, dude, you would have to create so many cards, so much change to even have a shot at being competitive. Snap, you have old cards being good, new cards coming out that week, whatever it might be. What I would love them to release is the announcement of the game mode, and then say, if you're new or returning. If you're new, we have blah, blah, blah packs. You can now pick your path, destroy, whatever. If you're returning, we have a 7-day login calendar if you haven't played in over a month or two, and you're guaranteed to get a spotlight key at the end of that. Get your new card as you come on in. Welcome back. They need to do that. That's a great way to get the show going. Hopefully the new game mode is badass as well. That's my floor. The more like probably the pessimistic approach is it's clans and guilds. But it just doesn't. I just can't see Ben Bro taking the stage and just being like, we got guilds for a game you've never played. Like, no one gives a damn. I think they're cool for the game. But I don't think that's the announcement. You don't pay IGN or whatever they're probably doing to say this. unless it was something important.
That's like a new Fear Unlocked situation. I had not considered that there was even a remote chance that they go up there and say, "We've got a new clan system," and I'm just like, "Oh no, man!" If they do that, Cozy, I don't know, man. I'm actually gonna shed tears. I'll cry. I'll cry. A grown man will cry, and it'll be irreversible emotional damage.
Yeah, and show off, like, man. Again, if I was the marketer for them, it's like, man, I'd put together the coolest clip involving the anime that you made with Deadpool. And then you put that with a Deadpool deck, doing really cool animations with Destroy and all that. You lean into the Deadpool thing because you're already having that. You get Marvel fans in doing that. That's the way I would go about it. Make something more badass and edgy. And then you go into the new game mode, you know, with that feel. You got the new voice lines. Take some of those, man. Like, I just think they could really nail it. And I hope it's not, you know, Chibi Galactus, whatever crap, you know, we've seen it in the past. So, yeah, high hopes, man. High hopes. It's coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, and in terms of what the game mode could be, I mean, I would love to see an auto battler mode. I'm just going to say it. I've seen statistics to indicate that in Hearthstone, the auto battler battlegrounds, which I believe it's called, actually outperforms and gets more games in than the standard mode anyways. Like, it's actually the de facto way to play Hearthstone.
I think that there's a lot of paths. There's been data mined, something called high stakes mode. We don't know anything about it. It could be that, whatever that, you know, could be. They could do 2v2. They could do draft, which I don't think they will. And then they could, of course, do an auto battler. I think any of those would be huge. I think if they did a really cool game mode and then an auto battler, that would make sense too. Listen, Conquest, when it came out, was pretty cool. It was pretty good. And I think they just need to add to that flair, if you will, and we'll see what they announce.
I don't mind the types of data mines when it comes to like bundles or variants and stuff like that. I don't care. But it would bother me if someone leaked and data mined a new mode to 100% accuracy, because I think that Marvel Snap and that team needs the like the marketing push for the health of the game, and to have it leaked or data mined and just kind of like posted on Reddit, I think would be so unbelievably cringe.
Yeah.
Like, for someone that cares about this game, I don't want to see that.
It's 2024, so it's the nature of the beast. I agree. Like, it just kind of happens, and devs are smart now. Like, they'll put in, like, they put, I believe before Loki came out, it was never going to give you up, never going to let you down. Like, they put a Rick Roll in there. Like, they know people are digging, right? And so they could have thrown high stakes mode as a smoke screen. I think they're smart enough to do that. And the Conquest was not leaked, and that could have happened. So I don't think it's going to happen. Could be the way they do leagues. On top of that, we might as well announce too, good on them. Good on them for doing the whole leagues announcement. They realized it was pay to win. And what did they say? They said they were testing internal, like, it sounded like they were testing like an internal dispute. Like, where like the hierarchies of Snap were like, see if this works. And then they tried it and they're like, it's not going to work. And then it didn't work, right? Good on them for fixing that, and hopefully Leagues comes out as a fun game mode.
And hopefully that's a learning experience to whoever it was that was like, hey, this is a bad idea. Do not release this. They're like, bro, you're wrong. Well, they're like, let's do a month. Let's see if, Sammy's right. And if Sammy the intern is right, and this is going to be really bad. One thing I want to mention about the IGN mode as well is the potential for having new players or returning players come back. Now, this might be like extremely just hope-centric. Huffing the hopium, as we like to say. I would love to see some improvements to the collection track and the reserves, the way they work. I don't think the new player experience can be improved without touching up the collection track and the way reserves work, because as of right now, I think opening cash is just absolute cringe, and I just don't want to do it.
I just fixed the 20-second timer every time you open. When even just that.
It's so bad.
My God, I don't open them anymore. Like, not even because like I don't want a variant. I just got a cool morph one, but it's like I don't have time, dude, to open these things. It's like crazy that the code hasn't fixed.
The whole UI is like that. I'm not trying to like make this into a complaint session, but like my kids play Nintendo Switch all the time. And I go through the store and stuff. It's so snappy. Things are just snappy. It's like so fast. And then I open up Marvel Snap. I have a Google Pixel phone. Like, I have a legit phone. The thing's a lag festival, man. Like, I have it set to low quality. Like, I'm like, what the hell is happening here, man? So like, yeah, there's definitely some improvements that need to be made on that side. But long story short, with regards to the upcoming announcement, really hoping for a banger mode that really ignites more passion in the game. Cozy, anything else on your wish list?
No, man. Just hopefully Ben's got a flannel on, and I'll be ready to accept it. It's Snap related, right? This isn't a second dinner announcement. It's Snap specifically.
Yeah, I believe so. 100%.
Okay. I was wondering if it was second dinner. I'm like, do they announce like a new game or something? But yeah, it's probably just gonna be the new game mode. We'll see. Hopes up. I'll text Ben, see what he says.
That's right. And that takes us directly into our Snapchat mailbag, the segment where you get to type mailbag down below in the comments section, and we will read some questions each and every week. And we're starting with the first one, which is one of my favorite of the week, from Clyde Frog 12, and it reads, "Are Cozy's arms still sore from rowing his boat?"
Oh my God, the PTSD's coming in. No, it's sore from other. I'm getting back. Actually, Alex and I were just talking about just like it's super easy to be unhealthy as a content creator. Like you're in grinding in your office so much, and before you know it, you're like, damn, I need to hit the gym. So yeah, I've been there's sore for that reason. But other than that, no, I've gotten over that horrible memory. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, of course. I mean, listen, if anything, Cozy, your arms got a nice workout as you rowed your entire family back to shore, and you got to see some seals. Is that when you swam with the seals? Is that what it is? Do people swim with seals or dolphins?
No. We've been through. They bite you. They can bite the Coast Guard. No.
So just don't pet seals. That's right. You got that place near. That's right. You have the petting zoo in San Diego where you go and you go pet all the seals.
Yeah, you gave them an F tier ranking. Seals?
No, seals are like C tier.
Sea lions is what we're talking about, by the way. Seals are like
sea lions, C tier. Come on now.
Sea lions, okay, fair enough. All right.
Wait. Sea lions aren't seals?
No.
Are you sure?
Positive. Are penguins birds? Actually, that's not even a good compare. Are penguins parrots?
No, it's like saying our hamsters gerbils.
Are they?
What? Okay. Next question from Jonas. It reads, "We all know that Adam Warlock cannot ever be good and not broken with that draw card ability, so a rework must be done. Well, since he has a soul stone attached to his head, why not give him a similar effect? What about a 5/3 ongoing? All enemy cards have -1 power." So like an inverted Blue Marvel for Adam Warlock.
Was that question on the back of a Laffy Taffy? That was like the biggest tongue twister that you've ever said. Yeah, that's cool, man. I feel like there's been a lot of what if we did this with Adam Warlock, and guess what? I agree. Why isn't Adam Warlock good? I don't know. And he's not even a new player. They can't even go with like we're just trying to have the new player experience.
We can't buff him.
No, I think he should do something. He's got to do something different. Even like, dude, even give Adam an ongoing when you're winning ongoing. You get the card there. Then at least you can, I don't know, make it probably not work in Spectrum. He needs the full kit redesign. Hopeful to see it. We'll see.
Is he already in an MCU movie or is he going to be in a movie? Because I remember seeing that kid from what's his name? The kid that played the We Are the Millers.
Yeah, Meet the Millers or something.
Right?
Yeah.
And doesn't he get his testicles stung by a bee or something?
He was teased at the end of Guardians 2, I think, or maybe like Infinity War. And she's like, "I'll call you Adam." And that's all we saw.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Well, We'll have to see where that goes then. As our next question comes in from Ultra Punch. "What do you guys think about Marvel Snap making physical cards to sell at retail? I think if they made them just for trading cards and not as a game, that would be awesome."
I've been behind this from day one. I asked Ben specifically on my interview. He said no. So
that's so sad.
It's sad. I think like, yeah, screw playing it. Like I know you can't do Loki or something if you were to play it. Just collecting them. I have them back here, man. They're so cool. The art's so iconic. And I might be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure at Comic-Con they said that the rights to sell stuff still belongs to Marvel, which is why you don't see like Snap stuff that much outside of like the initial bomber jacket that we have. But yeah, I wish, but probably gonna have to remain on Etsy.
Oh wow, look at that. Disney, very protective of IP. Surprised Pikachu face.
Yeah.
As we move on to our next question from Connoisseur Samuel. "What would you do to encourage more people to build decks on their own? I think the game would be much better if we didn't have to face the same 3 decks over and over. So how do we change that?"
Do people use the same decks over and over? I feel like there's a good amount of deck diversity. You're not going to be able to get away from like Mockingbird, Mysterio, Sasquatch. You just can't. You can't get away from Annihilus, Hood, Sentry. And even if you do, people go, "Oh, that's just an Annihilus deck with blank." Like, you're going to get stereotyped one way or another into a certain deck build. There's probably 30 plus unique synergies to go off that. And, in these games, there's always going to be a form of net decking. And if you don't, you get rewarded with being spontaneous, And so I think, there's that. A new game mode that encourages that, maybe. I think Conquest tried to do that a bit. Period, right? If you see what's performing good, you have these stat sites, there's nothing you can do. People are going to want to win, and if this one has a better percentage to win, they're going to play it.
I have a couple thoughts on this. First of all, it's not wrong to net deck, right? Like there are people like Cozy, myself, and others that really try to fixate on deck building. We commit tons of time, tons of mental energy to deck building. And when you play in a card game with an intense amount of domain knowledge, it's hard. Not all my decks land at like super high win rates. Sometimes Cozy and I crush it. Cozy, actually last week, you crushed, I think, 2 decks, right? It was pretty damn awesome to see. But like that takes practice. And it's okay if you're like, hey, I'm playing casually. I go to the meta report for myself for Cozy and I copy and paste. That's cool. Do that 100%. Another avenue there, of course, is taking a deck from a video of ours and then making it your own. You have a shell that you see is performing at 56% win rate, and I have a rogue in there, and you're like, I just unlocked Red Guardian. Boom, slot it in and make some changes to see how it plays for you. That's the other option. The third option is actually my favorite, and if you want to take the time to really craft something unique, then you have the opportunity to catch people by surprise. I mentioned it on Cozy's side of the Snapchat that one of my highest cube rate decks by far is the one I call Super Invisible, where I play a bunch of invisibility cards with Invisible Woman, Ebony Maw, and Super Giant. And when I play that deck, people have no idea what the hell I'm doing. And I rob them of cubes every single time. So the fact that if you want to get into a game and you want to create something wholly your own, fully brewed, you're going to have a cube rate advantage because your opponent won't know what you're doing. And for the most part, Cozy, I don't know if this is true to you, but when someone plays a card, 99% of the time, that first card tells me what their whole deck is.
Yeah, I can almost always state they're going to probably play this, probably do this. And great point is I was in this like tournament where I was with teams and I played the #1 player in it was France, I don't know. But he was the #1 player who did a Loki deck at the time. Loki was the best by a large percentage, and I played a Patriot Surfer deck. But that was when I introduced Super Giant into the deck, and I had things like Negasonic in there to really throw them off with an Alioth package. And I would do Super Giant into something like Dr. Doom and having a mass output of these bots. And this guy lost a lot of games to that. He didn't know, because if I didn't do that and I was just playing this Ultron build, they know what's going to happen. And you're just going to lose statistically to a deck that statistically is more consistent. So yeah, listen, make decks your own. Every one of my deck guides, everyone has flexible cards. And I tell you to switch out. Do it. Unless you're playing the deck in the first couple hours, do it, and you're going to have a better chance. And it's going to be more fun. It's your deck.
Absolutely. I think there's a lot of rewarding gameplay to be had if you're going to like net deck and kind of figure out like, how do I make this my own? I think that's one of the most rewarding elements. And finally, we have a question that's going to close us out from Skull Leno. If you can go back in time to give Snapchat episode 1 Cozy and Alex advice, what advice would you give?
Ooh, you start.
Me start? Okay. I think the advice that I would give would be just enjoy it, man. Like just enjoy every moment of this this amazing experience, because like the one thing that I feel like over time, as I've started to like age a little bit, and it's been a couple years of covering Marvel Snap, I think one consistent thing for me has been I'm so lucky and I'm so fortunate. And I can't believe that like I get to sit here on a podcast with, an incredible friend to talk about an incredible game. Tens of thousands of people watch and listen every single week. This is such a blessed place to be. And I think we can get caught up so often in the work, the grind, the fear of like releasing a bad video or not performing at a tournament, or all these stressors that we put on ourselves. Instead of focusing on all those things, focus on how special this opportunity is. Focus on how fortunate you are to be in a position where you get to do something you love. I'm living my dream. And Alex, episode 1, don't lose sight of that. Oh, and P.S., this Cozy guy's going to become one of your best friends.
Hey, man, yeah, like, what could I say to follow that up? I obviously completely agree with that. Yeah, I mean, one thing I'm proud of us is we did build this podcast on fun. And what I'm proud of nowadays more than back then is that as the episodes went on, we were like, let's just keep, like, we don't have to be so, we had to talk about this subject and then go right to the next one. Like, we just have fun. We talk about the struggles of the week or whatever happened. And like that friendship is what I think kicked the Snapchat off and is something to lean into even more. And then, of course, yeah, enjoying it on the way. This is such a unique, fun, crazy opportunity. Great question. Better answer. And ditto.
Absolutely. And thank you guys so much for watching Cozy Night. I appreciate it immensely. Your reviews on the podcast platform of your choice sincerely helps us get this podcast out into the world. So thank you guys for that. And as always, we'll see you on that next Snapchat episode.